And welcome to Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri, where tonight the Red Sox and the Kansas City Royals open up the series. The Red Sox fresh off dropping 2 out of 3 to the Minnesota Twins in Minneapolis. Flew after yesterday's day game. And ready to go here tonight against Blake Stein. Up and into Nixon. Trot hitting at .241, 4 homers and 14 runs driven in. Getting the start in right field tonight as he swings and fouls this off the left side. Blake Stein getting the start, 1 and 3, 6.62 earned run average coming in. Reinserted back in the Royals starting lineup. Spent a good amount of time in the bullpen, but back in there tonight.
Yeah, the last start that he made was against the Red Sox, and of course the Red Sox knocked him out after 4 2/3 innings. And since that time he has been in the bullpen. Now they have put Suzuki in the bullpen and Stein back in the starting rotation.
Kansas City Royals are without a pitching coach right now as Nixon takes that pitch up and in for ball 4. We're going to check out the lineup tonight for the Red Sox, brought to you by Liberty Mutual. Red Sox have Trot Nixon leading off. Jose Offerman bats second, plays at second base. Carl Everett will be in center field batting third, with Manny Ramirez back in the familiar DH spot. Troy O'Leary will be out in left field batting fifth. John Valentin back in there at shortstop, bats sixth. Ryan Daubach will be at first base batting seventh. Shea Hillenbrand at third, bats eighth. And Jason Varitek does the catching and bats ninth. So Trot Nixon getting a leadoff walk here in the top of the first inning. Jose Offerman standing in on the left side. And he grounds it foul in and out of the Royals dugout on the first base side.
Just give you some numbers on Blake Stein. He's 1 and 3 on the season in 9 games, 5 of those starts, an ERA of 6.62. Control has been a big problem. 23 walks and 31 strikeouts in 34 innings.
Jose Offerman has done extremely well against right-handers this year, at .338 against right-handers. Facing that big, tall, right-handed pitcher, Blake Stein, 27 years of age, 6'7", 240 pounds, out of Daphne, Alabama. Fouled off the left side. 1 and 2 to Jose.
Got a nice crowd tonight here at Kauffman Stadium. The Royals coming off a sweep of the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. They have moved out of last place in the Central Division.
It is also dollar night here at the ballpark. There's the pitch in the dirt. Everything's $1. Hot dogs, sodas, popcorn, it's all $1 tonight.
And they have fireworks right after the ball game tonight, and maybe that's a little bit of a draw. I guess on every Friday home game they have a fireworks display.
Now the 2-2 to Offerman is up and away. 3 and 2 the count now to Jose.
Stein's got good stuff. I mean, he's got a good live moving fastball up around 90 miles an hour. A hard slider and also the changeup.
Nixon's off. Offerman hits it in the air to right. Dye heading back, and Jermaine will haul it in. Nixon retraces his steps back to the bag at first, with now 1 down in the inning.
Take a look at the defense tonight for the Royals. They're 10th in the league, 33 errors on the season. Joe Rander at third, Ray Sanchez at shortstop, Louis Alicea at second, and Mike Sweeney at first. Left to right, D. Brown, Carlos Beltran, and Jermaine Dye. A.J. Hinch behind the plate, and of course on the mound, Blake Stein.
Stein was originally a sixth round pick in 1994 by the Cardinals out of Spring Hill College. Has been traded a couple of times in his career. The major league debut came with the Oakland A's in 1998. As Everett takes strike 1, Carl hitting under 300 at 297. 4 homers and 22 runs driven in. Somewhat of a big deal was made of his white shoes yesterday, but that was really a turf thing more than anything else. Jimmy talking about it before the ball game today as this pitch is outside high.
I don't know what the big deal was. I mean, he put on cleats to hit, and like a lot of players do when they get on that artificial surface, they go to something more comfortable. Apparently he didn't have turf shoes in the black, so he wore the the tennis shoes or the cross trainers, whatever they were.
Line to right. In is Jermaine Dye to play it. Nixon will touch second, but that's it. Dye with the good hard throw to third base. And the Red Sox have 2 on with 1 down here in the first inning.
That moves the hitting streak up to 4 straight games now for Carl Everett. Continues to do a good job getting on base in front of Manny Ramirez. And of course, with the ball hit so hard and the arm of Jermaine Dye in right field, no chance at all taken by Trot Nixon. He'll just stop at second base. The last time that Stein faced the Red Sox, Ramirez had a home run against him, and also Troy O'Leary.
They went back-to-back at Fenway Park off him. And it was the last time that Blake Stein made a start. They took him out of the rotation after that. Manny Ramirez, 50 RBIs. And he was 2 for 4 with a double and the 2-run home run yesterday, driving in 2 more. And getting his 50 RBIs in 40 games. Second quickest Red Sox player to do it since Walt Dropo did it, as this pitch is outside. Dropo had 50 RBIs in his first 36 games back in 1950. And their first strike. As you may imagine, Manny has been on a lot to go along with all his other terrific offensive numbers. He has reached base in 38 of his 40 games played so far. He has also played in every game so far the Red Sox have had this year. Joins Shea Hillenbrand in that department. Soft chopper left side. Miranda trouble with the runner and then on to first. And he does not get Nixon, who was kind of by him. They do get Ramirez at first, but the Red Sox will have 2 in scoring position with 2 down.
Yeah, Joe Randa wanted to tag Trot Nixon, then continue on to first base to get the double play, but could not reach Nixon. Watch him spin around, and Trot's going to go right behind him. So he doesn't even try to make that tag. He wants to make sure he gets it out here early in the ball game to get Ramirez over at first base. As a base runner, you have to get out of the way of a man fielding a ball. You have to allow him to make the play on the ball. So obviously Nixon would not be called for being out of the baseline.
Brings up Troy O'Leary, who hits at 229 with 3 homers and 16 runs batted in. He's enjoyed his time here at Kauffman Stadium, a 299 hitter in Kansas City. Swings at the first pitch and fouls it straight back. O'Leary was in the lineup yesterday, going 1 for 4, and has now hit safely in 7 of 9 games that he's played in the month of May. Play him to go the opposite way in the outfield as O'Leary pops it up into right field. Jermaine Dye coming in, calling, and he makes the catch to retire the side. So the Red Sox are retired without a benefit of a run in the top of the first. Kansas City coming up. Back at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri. Red Sox do not score in the top of the first. It's on to the bottom of the first. And this Kansas City Royals lineup brought to you by Liberty Mutual. Carlos Beltran leads it off. He's in center field. Ray Sanchez bats second and shortstop. Mike Sweeney at first base bats third. Jermaine Dye is out in right field, the cleanup spot. Joe Randa, third base, will bat fifth. D. Brown in left, batting sixth. Former Red Sox second baseman plays in second tonight, but for the Royals, Luis Alicea bats seventh. Raul Ibanez is just brought up from AAA, the DH, and A.J. Hinch does the catching, and he bats ninth.
The Red Sox are 5th in the league defensively, 27 errors in their 40 games. Shea Hillenbrand will be at third base. John Ballens in the shortstop. Jose Offerman at second and Brian Daubach at first. Left to right, O'Leary, Everett, and Nixon. Jason Varitek behind the plate, and on the mound, Pedro Martinez. A perfect 5-0. The 1.74 ERA is best in the league. Joe Mays is second at 2.30. Pedro with 84 strikeouts, a comfortable lead over Barry Zito, who has 58. And of course, Pedro's last 2 outings against Oakland won both games and had 12 strikeouts in that most recent start on May 12th against Oakland. Anybody that remembers Pedro's last outing here at Kauffman Stadium, 5 runs against Pedro in the early going, but then actually the first inning. But then after that, Pedro settled down and got 18 of the next 19 batters. The Red Sox won that ball game eventually. So Pedro well aware of what this lineup can do. And as I mentioned in the open, they don't walk very much. So I expect them to be very aggressive against Martinez tonight.
Umpiring crew has Ed Rapuano in behind the plate calling the balls and strikes. Paul Emmel at first, Tim McClelland at second, and Chris Guccione, the umpire, at third base. Carlos Beltran standing in, left-handed hitting center fielder to face Pedro Martinez. Pedro leading the league in ERA, coming in at 1.74. Nobody else in the ones. Second is Joe Mays, 2.30 at the Minnesota Twins. Lined into center field for a base hit. Never will come on to play it is Carlos Beltran, the leadoff man aboard for the Royals in the bottom of the first.
Take a look at tonight's game notes brought to you by Sullivan Tire. The Red Sox 14-7 against teams below 500. The Royals defense, they've turned 50 double plays. That leads the American League. Of course, Sanchez, one of the best in the business at shortstop. The Royals only 2-22 when scoring 4 or fewer runs.
So 1 on, nobody out. Ray Sanchez, the hitter, right-handed hitter. Sanchez at 280 on the year. Red Sox infield at double play depth. Sanchez has a 7-game hitting streak going. We kind of highlighted it in the pregame that the Royals do have some hitting streaks going. They have played better baseball as of late, hitting at .303 over the past 12 games. And they have done that without their fine outfielder Mark Quinn, who's missed now the last 4 games with an eye infection and is not in there again tonight. Breaking ball in there for a strike. 1-1.
Actually, this lineup started to heat up with last time they were in Boston, and since that time they really have not stopped hitting over 300 in their last 10 games. Their biggest problem to this point has been their pitching staff. As a matter of fact, it cost their pitching coach his job.
And they have been without the pitching coach the last 5-6 days. They've been using the bullpen coach in that capacity while they have conducted some interviews. Brent Strom was the pitching coach who was fired. They had originally said they'd like to keep it in-house. That may still be the case in terms of the organization bringing up another pitching coach. And they have been without their ace in terms of pitching. Flare to right down the line. Nixon on the run. It's going to fall foul. That was bending foul. It started fair, but luckily for the Red Sox and Nixon, it falls harmlessly in foul ground.
Well, this has started out pretty much the way we expected it. Beltran not hanging around very long. He picks up the base hit. Sanchez being very aggressive.
Carlos Beltran, a very good base stealer. 17 consecutive stolen bases. 2 for 2 this year. And has the good size lead at first base. Held on by Brian Daubach. Gain it again as Martinez comes set. On the ground left side. Valentin to his right to second for 1. Tough relay. Not nearly in time. Hoffman had a little trouble getting it out. But slowly hit as well, and Valentin had the range to his right. They do get the lead man in Carlos Beltran.
Yeah, you don't pick up many double plays when both players, the shortstop and second baseman, have to make throws off balance, and that's the case here. Valentin going to his right. He makes an off-balance throw to Jose Offerman, and then Offerman backing off the bag had to make that quick relay, and not quite in time to get Sanchez with that very good speed.
So 1 out, 1 on. Mike Sweeney, the first baseman. Sweeney has a 10-game hitting streak going heading into tonight's game as Pedro looks to run her back. Sweeney has been 16 for 43 during that time. And over the last 109 bats has been hitting at a .358 clip. 39 for his last 109. Really a very good hitter. Was an all-star last year. He and Jermaine Dye going to the all-star game representing the Royals a year ago. In the air to center field. Everett is right there. And there's 2 down in the inning. Carl was defensively aligned perfectly in center field, and there's 2 down.
Well, again, another Kansas City hitter swinging at that first pitch. Breaking ball, a curveball that time from Pedro. Ball hit pretty well by Sweeney, but right at Carl Everett in center field.
Two down in the bottom of the first inning, and it brings up Jermaine Dye, the right fielder. Hitting at .263, 5 homers and 23 runs driven in. Dye has hit safely in 18 of the last 20 games at a .300 clip. But he's not done terribly well here at home, just .243 here at Kauffman Stadium. A check of first, and back in time is Sanchez.
Yeah, Sanchez might try to go here. 2 outs in the inning. He has 5 steals on the season, has not yet been caught.
In there for a strike to Jermaine Dye. Jermaine Dye has done the bulk of his hitting in the first couple of innings. 24 of his 40 hits have come in the first 4 innings. Lashes this foul off the right side, and it's 0-2. Well, a beautiful night here tonight in Kansas City. Last night some storms came through. But today it was overcast for the bulk of the day. But right before the ball game, the sun came out. Now there's not too many clouds above us. What is a terrific night. You're telling me it gets pretty hot here.
Yes, it gets very warm and very humid in the summer, but very comfortable here tonight. And I guess it's supposed to be a terrific weekend.
That just misses. Framed by Jason Varitek, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, nice little long look in by Pedro. Thought maybe he had strike 3 on that fastball.
Well, the Royals playing on their surface here that used to be AstroTurf. A couple years ago turned over to the grass, and by all accounts a much better facility as a result. The 1-2 in there for a call strike 3. Pedro picks up his first strikeout of his outing, and gone to the Royals in the bottom of the first. 1 done from Kansas City, no score. On to the top of the 3rd inning, Jason Varitek, number 9 hitter to lead it off. The switch hitting catcher at .291 with a home run and 9 runs batted in. Jason Varitek had yesterday off. Scott Hatteberg was in there yesterday. Hatteberg was 0 for 4 doing the catching duties in the final game of the 3-game series against the Twins. Varitek quickly down 0-2. Red Sox coming in at 23-17, dropping the last 2 games to the Twins. The Royals are 16-25. But out of the last place spot in the AL Central, now belonging to the Chicago White Sox, who have fallen on hard times. The Royals are already 13 games behind the Minnesota Twins. This early juncture in the season. The 2-2 fouled back to our left.
Got that camera angle. That's new.
It's a lower center, it looks like, right above the 400 marker out there, and a little bit off center to left center. He strikes out Varitek. Second strikeout for Blake Stein. He opened the 2nd inning with a strikeout of Valentin. He opens the 3rd with a strikeout of Varitek.
Well, if Blake Stein throws strikes, he's going to be tough because he's got good stuff, as we talked about. Throws hard. There's that fastball right by Varitek to pick up the strikeout. They've got some good arms on this team. A lot of guys that throw hard.
One away, Trot Nixon walked his first time, takes strike 1.
I don't think we should use that shot anymore because we used it and it had a strikeout, and then we use it again, we have a strike, so the guy's 0-1. I don't.
Not a bad karma from that shot.
Yeah, this one's not working either. Let's try lower third.
We'll find something that works.
High home.
High home.
Janice will get us a hit.
Fouled straight back to the backstop.
Janice is hot.
Nixon will be followed by Offerman here in the top of the third. And it evens out at 2-2. You're talking about the pitching, Jerry. They're without, of course, their great ace. And Jose Rosado is going to have more surgery after an MRI yesterday determining a continuing tear in his labrum. He's already been operated in that area June 23rd of last year for the same thing. Fouled off the left side again by Nixon. And he's not pitched in over a year now. Last pitched in April of 2000. Their ace, an all-star, 97 and 99, but they're going to be without him for a lot longer, it appears.
That's amazing with Rosado. It's a shame for him because he's a very good pitcher. All right-handed pitchers on this pitching staff.
Nixon strikes out. High heat, and it's back-to-back Ks for Blake Stein. 2 down.
Blake Stein once again with the fastball, but this one way up out of the zone, and that's one of those when you're about halfway through the swing, you know you made a mistake, but there's nothing you can do about it except get upset.
2 down. Here's Jose Offerman. Takes a first pitch strike. Jose lined out to right field his first time. Offerman did not play yesterday. He's got the 10-game hitting streak going at 386. On the ground and off the glove. Mike Sweeney at first. Offerman will reach. Alicea was ranged up behind Mike Sweeney, so kicks off his glove out towards second. And Offerman will reach with 2 down in the inning.
Sometime that second baseman is able to make a play like this, but once the first baseman commits, it's awful tough for him to call off the first baseman on a play like that. And they're committed to it. They're going to make the play. They're going to dive, do everything. And I'm not so sure Alicea would have been able to get to it anyway.
They have given Jose a hit, so he extends his hitting streak to 11 games. It is the second hit tonight for the Red Sox. The man at the plate had the first hit in the first inning, Carl Everett, and he singled into right field. Everett featuring the toothpick again tonight. 4 games against the Royals at .500. Fouls it back. Blake Stein had a tough beginning to last year. 2000 after being struck by a line drive off the bat of Alejandro Prieto in February spring training game. He suffered a small crack in his right forearm and did not return until July 5th. But he did go on to record a career high in wins last year. 8-5 for the Royals. 1-1 is fouled back. Now the 1-2 pitch to Everett. On the ground towards Alicea. On to Sweeney. Tough throw. Everett dives and gets in. Throws to the home plate side, and Everett goes in ahead first and safely as Offerman will move up to second base.
A good heads-up play there by Carl Everett. Just a very routine throw here for Alicea, but it's going to be off the bag at first base. Sweeney has to come off the bag to make the play, and Everett, noticing that, just dives away from the tag of Sweeney, gets the bag, and keeps this inning alive. Looks like he was ready to stop because he thought he was going to be out. All of a sudden he sees that bad throw and he goes into the dive and makes a nice play out of it. So that gives Ramirez a chance to hit here in the third inning.
The Royals obviously would like to have done without this. As Manning comes to the plate with men on. First time up, he grounded out to the third baseman. Swings here, fouls it up into the upper deck on the right side, which is well populated tonight. The lower bowl wrapped up. See Ramirez's work with 2 outs on the season, as there currently are here in the third inning. Woodward at first, Offerman at second. By way of an infield hit and an error. Playing the backhand by A.J. Hinch. Like 6'7" Blake Stein trying to work his way out of a jam. Manny's most recent production yesterday, Jerry, he's now on pace for 203 RBIs this season.
That'd be a story, wouldn't it?
It really would. But even the fact that he has 50 at this point is amazing at this time of the year. The 1-1. Foul tipped. Got a big piece of A.J. Hinch, and it's 1-2.
Ouch. Yeah, it did get a big piece of him.
A tough spot. AJ's going to take some time and walk out to the mound. Very understandably. Well, the Red Sox coming in at first place, top the AL East. The Yankees are a game and a half back now. The Blue Jays have fallen on hard times. The Buck Martinez, they've lost 8 of their last 9.
They're only playing 500 baseball right now, I believe. 20-20.
Exactly. So they have fallen off the pace quite a bit. Jays are at Texas. We'll be keeping an eye on that ball game. The Yankees are at Seattle. Really a chance for the Red Sox maybe to pick up some ground here as they take on Ichiro and the Mariners as Ramirez lines it into left field. Offerman's going to be sent around. D. Brown will not throw, and the Red Sox are on top 1-0. And he's done it again with 2 down.
Well, good hitters very seldom get fooled twice on the same pitch, and he threw the changeup to Ramirez and he fouled off, and he tries to come right back with the changeup again. This time Ramirez right toward the end of the bat didn't exactly crush it, but put it on the line and good enough to drive in the run. So Ramirez now with 51 RBI. What a strange inning. Back-to-back strikeouts, then the 2-out hit off the glove of Sweeney. The error by Alicea gives Ramirez a chance to hit, and he picks up the RBI.
Blake Stein's got to be a little bit frustrated because they've really not hit him. As Troy O'Leary, who flied out to right his first time, takes a high strike, and it's 0-1. Fouls it the opposite way down the left field line. Well, the Red Sox will be looking to get back up over 500 on the road as they come in now with the 2 most recent losses in Minnesota at 9-9 away from Fenway Park. 14-8 at home at Fenway, but the road record now at 500. Stein backs off, wants to see the signs again from A.J. Hinch. Playing in back-to-back games, played yesterday in there with the right-hander going tonight. The Royals do not feature a lefty, so the Red Sox may be using similar lineups as he waves at it, swinging and missing. A throw down to first base in time, and the side retired. 4 strikeouts and all now for Blake Stein. Red Sox pick up a run by who else? Manny Ramirez drives it in. 1-0 Boston at the end of 2.5. Back at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, Red Sox gather a run in the top of the third, have the 1-0 advantage as we get ready for the bottom of the third. Raul Ibanez just back up from AAA. A.J. Hinch and Carlos Beltran expected in the inning. 5 in a row retired by that man as we head to the last of the third. Ibanez up here for his 2nd stint with the Royals. And he takes a strike. Ibanez now in his 14th game as a member of the Royals. First time around, no homers, 3 runs batted in, and a 208 batting average. One hopper to second. Offerman gobbles it up, and there's one down. We were talking about it, Jerry, when we were in Minnesota. Our Spanish friends, Adrian and JP, were parked out in the middle of nowhere in Minnesota. The Royals have taken a little bit better care.
Oh, they got a great place now. They're right down near Castaic and Troop. One level below us.
Is that where they are? They're below us?
Yeah. Off to our right, I believe. There they are. They can actually see the field.
Foul back in their direction. So we're the only ones at this level?
Well, us and some very important people. They have luxury boxes up here that let's see that. See, they can see the field. Everything's beautiful now. Actually behind home plate.
In their first strike, and it's 0-2. A.J. Hinch just 136. Thus his spot in the batting order, batting 9th for the Royals. Gets a piece of that. Hangs tough at 0-2. Last time out for Pedro, win against the Oakland A's. 7 innings of work, 3 hits, 3 runs, 1 walk, 12 Ks. Part of a 9-3 victory for the Red Sox against Oakland. Grounded outside of third.
A rare drop by Rich Dower, the third base coach. Did not drop many ground balls like that. Matter of fact, a couple of pretty good fielding second basemen as coaches here. Rich Dower and, of course, the great Gold Glove winner over at first base in Frank White.
Strikeout number 4 for Pedro. Struck out 2 in the second, 1 in the first, and strikes out A.J. Hinch for the inning. Second out in the third.
The rising fastball from Pedro Martinez up around the letter high, and very difficult pitch for any hitter to catch up to.
Pedro with a great ratio of strikes, 33 pitches, 27 of which have been strikes. Carlos Beltran single to center field his first time, up there hacking early, fouls it off.
Carlos Beltran moved into that leadoff spot, and it was like toward the end of April, around April 26th, and since that time has hit at an even 300 clip.
His base hit in the first inning is now hit safely in his last 7 games. And is a career .299 hitter against the Red Sox. See his work during the last 7 games. And a leadoff base hit off Pedro so far. After that, no one else has had a hit off Pedro. Pedro's now retired. The last 8 Kansas City Royals in a row. On the inside corner for strike 3. 5 Ks for Martinez through the first 3 innings. Now retired 9 Royals in a row. Red Sox have the 1-0 lead. Back in Kansas City where the Red Sox enjoy the 1-0 advantage. Time now for the Aflac trivia question. Question is tonight, who holds the major league record for double plays in a season by a shortstop? The answer at next half inning.
I think I know that answer.
John Valentin leading it off. Strikeout victim in the second inning. Valentin takes a pitch high. Nice to see Rex Sutcliffe, who has stopped in to see us here tonight. As the 1-0. It's outside. 2-0 the count.
They'll be doing the Yankee Red Sox game next Wednesday at Yankee Stadium for ESPN.
On the ground towards Sanchez. Long throw and plenty of time to get Valentin. One down. Let's check in with the Nesson studio and Tom Caron. TC.
Well, Don, thanks very much. Toronto taking on Texas. Texas with a 1-0 lead here at the top of the third, but Shannon Stewart drives in too with an opposite field double. Vernon Wells, Homer Bush come around to score. That gives Toronto a 2-1 lead. They've now taken a 3-1 lead. Ivan Rodriguez is back, but Texas is trailing.
Thanks, Tom. Not everybody can get away with calling Tom TC.
Oh, I guess not. Gee. Got to be pretty tight.
Yeah, you got to be very close with Tom to call him TC. Dahlbach pops it up foul off the left side. You ever called him TC?
No, I don't have permission to do that. I notice you've been here a very short time, but you're into all the nicknames and the TCs and BR and
DR.
BR, Bob Rogers.
Oh, BR.
Who's that general manager? SM? Sean McGrail. You call him SM, right?
I've never called Sean SM. No. 1-1 is outside. Call him Mr. McGrail. Like to call you Mr. Remy.
It's not what I hear.
The 2-1 pitch to Dahlbach, fouled off the left side. Ryan walked his first time. It does look like he's cleaned himself up a little bit. Maybe a little work on the lid as well. A 2-2.
It seems like in the early going that Pedro's strike zone is a little bit wider than Stein's, and of course sometimes reputation has something to do with that.
The last pitch to Beltran was in that same general area last inning. Dahlbach has earned his second walk of the night, and the third rendered by Blake Stein.
I think Tony Musa would like to see those calls go both ways. If Pedro's going to get him, well, please give a few to my pitcher.
Brings up Shea Hillenbrand, who had the misfortune of grounding into the double play the first time. Tony Muser is the manager that replaced Bob Boone back in '97. 12th manager of the Royals. Hillenbrand fouls it off the right side. Royals a year ago were 77-85. They finished in 4th place in the AL Central. And this year back in 4th place right now, 13 games back of the Twins. Dahlbach with a good lead off first. Hillenbrand lines it into left field for a base hit. Dahlbach with the play in front of him stops at second base. The Red Sox collect another hit and have 2 on with 1 away now in the top of the 4th inning.
Second time tonight, Hillenbrand's hit the ball hard, but the first time was a 4-6-3 double play. This time he gets the breaking ball from Stein and does a good job staying on it. Watch the head stay down on the baseball, and it's that line drive between third and short.
Shea Hillenbrand, who had been 1 for his last 8, gets a base hit. Jason Varitek, a strikeout victim his first time. In the air down the left field line. D. Brown's got a long way to go. Joe Randa, the third baseman, over, but neither will have a chance. Lands well out of both of their reaches.
First out of this inning went to the shortstop Ray Sanchez, and so a lot of times he goes overlooked as a shortstop. He's only made 1 error on the season, and that error coming against the Red Sox back at Fenway Park. But he is outstanding defensively. Look at that, 1 error and 214 chances for Sanchez.
Last year for the Royals, he ranked 2nd among AL shortstops in fielding percentage with all those great shortstops in the American League. He made just 4 errors in 143 games. He was second to just Omar Vizquel.
And he's a guy that gets to a lot of balls. So it's not like he doesn't have any range and he just, feeling those balls that are right at him. I mean, he gets a lot of balls to his left, his right, charging the ball.
In the air, hit well to right. Jermaine Dye going back, looking up, and it is gone. A long 3-run home run for Jason Varitek, the second of the year for him. And the Red Sox take the 4-0 lead.
Well, two things that have got Stein in problems this season: walks, he's had one in this inning, and home runs. This is the 8th home run that he has allowed on the year. And I'm going to tell you, this ball is crushed. This is almost to the back of the bullpen area where the Royals have their bullpen pitch. It's a long way from home plate.
Now the top of the order, Trot Nixon. And a bomb for Jason Varitek.
Last time it was Ramirez and O'Leary who had home runs against Blake Stein at Fenway Park. This time Varitek with a 3-run home run, and I mean, that's a long home run.
A.J. Hinch gets hit again on a foul tip. It's been a tough night for him as he's struck by Trot Nixon.
Looks like I got him right on either the wrist or somewhere around the wrist or elbow.
They have approximated the home run for Jason Varitek is 425 feet.
Well, I've seen a few home runs in this ballpark, and it's not an easy place to hit home runs, but I've not seen many hit to the back wall in that bullpen area. Now, you move that out a little bit toward to the left, and you're talking about in those water fountains. That's crushed.
3:30 down the lines here at Kauffman Stadium as they now have action in the pens. Corey Bailey up in the bullpen for the Royals. High drive down the line and right towards the pole for Nixon. Towards the corner, and it is gone. Back-to-back home runs for the Red Sox. Varitek and Nixon both go yard. And the Red Sox lead it 5-0. The third time this season the Red Sox have gone back-to-back. The second time off Blake Stein.
Well, there was a fastball, a high fastball that Varitek hit for the home run. This is the breaking ball, the curveball right here from Stein that Trot Nixon's going to take right down the line, just inside that foul pole. Red Sox now have 49 home runs on the season. That is third best in the American League in that category.
Meeting at the mound as Corey Bailey continues to warm up.
It looks like Tony Musa getting ready to bust a move out of that dugout too.
And here comes Tony Musa with Jose Offerman waiting on deck for the Red Sox. Well, Blake Stein got John Valentin to ground out to shortstop to begin the inning. The walk Daubach. Base hit for Hillenbrand, then the 3-run job by Jason Varitek out of the bullpen and right. And then Nixon takes him deep. They go back-to-back. Blake Stein has thrown 77 pitches in his outing. And Corey Bailey, who has been rapid fire for the most part down there, does appear to be relatively ready. And Tony Musa is going to go get it as he makes the sign to the bullpen. Blake Stein has not fared well against the Red Sox this year. Just back into the rotation tonight, and things not going terribly well for him through just 3 1/3 innings. The 5 runs and the 2 home runs. And Corey Bailey will be headed on. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by Verizon Wireless. We're back to tell you about Corey Bailey after this with the Red Sox on top 5-0. A tough outing for Blake Stein. Just the 3 1/3 innings and the 5 runs charged to him. Back-to-back home runs. And on is Corey Bailey into the ball game.
8th appearance for Bailey. He was called up from Omaha on April 20th. Matter of fact, he pitched against the Red Sox a couple of times in that series at Fenway. His last outing coming against Minnesota on the 13th of May, and pitched an inning in that game, allowing a couple of hits and an earned run. 11 strikeouts and 11 1/3 innings. 11 hits allowed for Bailey in 7 appearances.
So another right-hander into the ball game after Blake Stein is chased. And that means Jose Offerman will opt to bat from the left side against the right-hander. Offerman with an infield hit his last time up, scored the game's first run. It's driven in by Manny Ramirez in the 3rd inning. Takes the high strike for strike 1. Good cut by Jose. He's quickly down 0-2. Rick Bailey, former member of the Red Sox, appeared in just 5 games with Boston in '94. Prior to that, 11 games in '93 with the Red Sox. He was originally a 15th round pick by the Red Sox back in 1991. Sent to St. Louis with Scott Cooper. A trade for Mark Whitten and Riel Cormier as this pitch is hit in the air. Left center field. Beltran jogging in, and the center fielder will put it away. 2 down. Let's hit the net, Jerry. Craig Stevenson from Windham, Maine wants to know how many baseballs are used during the course of a game.
Ooh, I'm going to take a guess at about I'm going to say between 7 and 8 dozen baseballs a game. I'm not quite sure, but I'm going to guess it's around that. It's more than it used to be because they're more generous giving away the baseballs now. A lot of those ball attendants, they get a ball, they'll flip it to the crowd. And what they do is the umpires will get those baseballs prior to the game, and they rub them up, a certain amount of them. And those are the ones they'll start the game with. And then usually a clubhouse attendant is responsible for rubbing up the rest of them, and that they'll use throughout the course of a game. So I think it's around 90 baseballs, and I think in a doubleheader about 120.
Is to use that mud to rub it up?
Yeah, I'm not exactly what the mixture is, but that's interesting. Sometimes you'll get some of them, and they'll rub them up too dark, and you'll have a lot of the players complaining that so they'll dump those baseballs and they'll get some others, and so it's an interesting little thing that they do prior to the game. Part of the job of the home plate umpire to rub up the baseball.
I'm told that mud comes from the Delaware River as it's lined down the right field line. Delaware River runs in behind the Trenton ballpark, the AA facility for the Red Sox.
It doesn't come from the Charles River, then?
No, it's the Delaware River.
Delaware River.
Yeah.
So that's official baseball mud.
Just from the Delaware River.
Now, I've known guys who put stuff on baseball different than mud. Vaseline, all kind of stuff.
The 0-2 to Everett on the ground inside the bag at first, down the line. Everett thinking too as Jermaine Dye goes to dig it out in foul ground, and Everett is easily into second base, his second hit, and a 2-out double for Carl Everett.
Well, Everett getting up over that 300 average again, 2 for 3 in the ball game tonight. He gets a curveball down, and Bailey's got a good curveball. But he gets the head of the bat out there and just keeps it in fair territory right between Sweeney and that first base line for the 2-out double. Now, we'll see if they even attempt to pitch to Ramirez. First base is open.
Manny Ramirez 1 for 2 in the ball game. They do pitch to him. It's in the dirt, ball 1.
There's one thing pitching to him, there's another thing throwing him strikes, and we'll see if any of that happens. But right now they are going to go after Manny with first base open.
Line to left field. D. Brown coming on, and he will not make the catch. It goes through him, and easily it is Carl Everett. Manny's still running, is thinking 3. He's headed in that direction. He will get there, and D. Brown just lost it out there in left field. The run scores, and the Red Sox go on top 6-0.
Well, I don't know if this is just a misplay by Brown or that he maybe lost it in the light bank above first base. Because generally when you see a player miss it like that, it's usually because he loses in the lights. We'll take another look. And no indication there that he had lost it in the light bank. It's just he just plain old missed it. Well, hard to tell. Right at the last minute, he looked away.
Leary, a big cut. It looked like he was looking in the wrong direction as he was coming on.
Exactly. That's a tough one to call from our point. It looked like at the last minute he turned away, and usually when you see a player miss a ball like that, it is because they lost in the light bank.
It is a hit, the 8th of the night for the Red Sox, and another ribby for Ramirez. On the ground, Sweeney will take it alone. The damage has been done. Red Sox scored 5 times in the inning, and at the end of 3.5, enjoy a 6-0 advantage. Back in Kansas City, a big 5 spot for Pedro Martinez and the Red Sox. On top now 6-0, and it's time now for our Aflac trivia question. Who holds a major league record for most double plays in a season by a shortstop? And the answer, back in 1980, 147 for Rick Burleson, and part of that year, double play combo sitting to my right, Mr. Remy.
Yeah, I would imagine I took part in a couple of those double plays. The Rooster, now a minor league coach. He coaches in rookie league in Billings in the Reds organization. They took the short season. They start up in June and they finish up on Labor Day. Goes to spring training, spends time down there, and then of course manages that club when they get rolling in June.
Ray Sanchez fouls the first one off.
I had so many knee problems, and I don't remember how many I was probably with Burleson on those, but quite a few I think in 80.
Sweeping breaking ball in there for a strike, and it's 0-2.
Well, it has to be a real letdown for this offense. Down 6 and they're facing Pedro, you know, so it's not an easy task.
The 0-2 pitch to Ray Sanchez. This is away. Mike Sweeney, then Jermaine Dye here in the 4th inning. Pedro has retired 9 Royals in a row. Leadoff hitter Carlos Beltran. First hit of the Pedro faced, the only hit so far for the Royals as they bat in the 4th inning. Soft roller down the third base line. Pedro is not going to have a play. And a second hit now for the Royals. It leads off the 4th inning for speedy Ray Sanchez.
That was almost like a perfect bunt down the third baseline. Looks like the cut fastball from Pedro, and Pedro falling off toward the first base side. He can't make a play. Hillenbrand, even if he makes it, would not have been able to throw Sanchez out at first base. Couldn't have rolled it out there any better than that. Sanchez gets his hits off Martinez. At 261 coming into the game. 1 for 2 tonight.
He'll get his lead off first. Leadoff man aboard here. Mike Sweeney lined out to center field his first time. In his second at bat against Pedro. And 109 at bats. 26 extra base hits for Mike Sweeney.
22 of those doubles. 22 doubles leads the American League. 6 more than Eric Chavez of Oakland.
On the ground, Valentin diving, flips with his glove for one on to first. They turn it. Valentin to Offerman on to Daubach. 2 down in the 4th inning. Spectacular play from John Valentin, who lays it out and then gets it done.
Yeah, and you know Pedro appreciates that effort. He's going to watch it on the scoreboard. Valentin with a dive right out of the glove to Offerman and the double play, and wow. I'll tell you what, that ball looked like it was headed up the middle. You didn't think Valentin had the range to get there. He dives on those knees. He makes the play with Offerman turning it over. Terrific, terrific defensive play. And Pedro just waited till that replay was done, then saluted Valentin at shortstop.
Jermaine Dye, a strikeout victim his first time, cranks one through the left side. The third Royals hit, highlighting the double play And dies aboard with 2 down. Brings up Joe Randa. Popped out to the first baseman his first time. Randa coming in at .256 on the year. Right-handed hitting third baseman for the Royals. And their first strike. Pedro quickly ahead of Randa, nothing in 2. We have a situation going on here in the booth.
Yeah, I've my glasses broke. So I can't see the game anymore.
This is not a good thing. We do have Rick Sutcliffe with us. Just off the outside edge. 1-2 the count. Jerry is without the glasses now. This could be a very serious situation as time goes on. Can't see anything. We have
actually, I can see the field. I just can't see the numbers, and that's okay. Numbers are overrated anyway.
This is going to be a great look, though. They're going to go to the tape here. They're now putting white tape on Jerry's glasses. The 1-2 is fouled back to the backstop.
This is not good because there's still, what, 5 games left in this road trip?
Yes.
Rick Sutcliffe can take over.
Yeah, he's ready to go. He's ready to go.
Of course, at these prices, he can't work at these prices. This is nice.
It looks good. It's kind of like the Revenge of the Nerds type look there with the tape on it. You need it more in the middle. It's foul down the right field line. And it's 1-2.
Yeah, that's all right. Nothing wrong with that.
Terrific job.
All right, let's go. Get the camera out of here. Come on, let's go. It's a game. Pedro.
The 1-2 to Joe Randa. And swung on and missed it. Strikeout number 6 for Pedro. And the Royals are gone in the 4th. They leave a man. 6-0 Red Sox at the end of 4.
Back at Kauffman Stadium, the Red Sox have a 6-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the 5th. Pedro Martinez in his last matchup with D. Brown back in the 2nd inning. We talked about how Pedro, you never know what to expect. Well, 3 straight changeups to D. Brown. And there's that final one down and out of the zone. So you very seldom see that. A pitcher, you know, 3 times in a row with the changeup. It's almost like he's walking a home plate saying, okay, here comes another one. Let's see if he can hit it.
Is his changeup, in your eyes, the best in the game right now?
It's real good. I mean, he's got the great arm action with it, and it almost acts like a screwball, you know, working down and away from those left-handers.
D. Brown probably thinks so as he struck out in the 2nd inning. 1 of 6 Ks for Pedro tonight. D. Brown, Luis Alicea, and Raul Ibanez expected here in the 5th inning. Out after the 1-0, 1-1.
And just in case you were looking for the changeup in this at bat, there's my high fastball for you. 92 miles an hour up above the letters that time.
In the air to left field, O'Leary ranging back, has it in his sights, and there's 1 down. Well, time now to take a look at the Heineken What's on Tap tomorrow back here in Kansas City. 7:30 start time for us on NESN. Fox 25 has Sunday's matinee affair, and it's off to New York for 3. NESN has the first 2 at Yankee Stadium. Tuesday and Wednesday, then Fox 25, another matinee game on Thursday in New York. And we'll probably see David Cohn once again in that series. Once again, I have left you out. Is the pitch in there for a strike?
There's a lot of signs going on right now. A lot of signs that this is the last year for the kid.
The 0-1 pitch in the air to center field. Carl Everett coming on. He went back first, and it cost him as it falls. Started back, comes on, can't get there. And Luis Alicea has got a base hit.
It's a tough play for a center fielder because it's toward the end of the bat. And you see that big swing toward the outfield, and the initial response is to go back. Well, instead, he has to come back in by the time he gets rolling. Can't make the play. And Alicea picks up the base hit. So Louis now on a 4-game hitting streak. It's always tough to judge center field, just exactly how hard that ball is hit.
Raul Ibanez grounded out to second base his first time. And takes a cut, fouling it off into the Royals dugout on the first base side.
You know, talking about signs of trying to be pushed out the door. And last night,
there we go.
Ness and crew was out for a nice steak dinner.
Huge steak dinner.
While I was in my room,
huge,
coming off a nice meal on the plane. No invitation. So there have been a lot of different things. The way you've jumped in a lot of things here keep me from you like the FaceTime in the open. You have your own section in the open. And I think that this is coming from up above. I don't think it's your fault, Don.
I haven't asked for it.
I think there's been a memo sent down from up above that get rid of the kid. This is it for him.
The 1-1 pitch is low and inside. Well,
you know, there's a lot of things that add up through the course of a season, and when you get nixed on dinner, when everybody's been invited except you.
See, they had the car ready to go, and I was going to throw myself in front of the car and ask where Jerry was.
Yeah, that sounds good.
But then I was told that it was a
freebie?
Fox 25 day.
No, was it a freebie?
The 2-1 pitch on the ground right side. Offerman going to try to start two. Going to be very tough, and they only get the lead man, Luis Alicea. Raul Ibanez will reach at first with 2 down.
Offerman has to go to his left to make this play, and you're really not going to be able to turn this over for a double play. Valentin will get there and get kicked by Alicea as he goes by trying to stop the double play.
Hector Ortiz will bat for the first time since coming on defensively for A.J. Hinch with 2 down and a runner at first base. All I can tell you is
I don't want to talk about it.
I did not pay for mine. No.
Okay, that's what I figured.
As the pitch is outside. I think you're being very sensitive. Chopper. Pedro going off the backside and leave it for Valentin on the run in time. They get Ortiz, and the Royals are gone in the 5th. They'll leave a man, and at the end of 5-6-0 Boston. On to the bottom of the 6th inning. And a first pitch strike to Carlos Beltran. He'll be followed by Ray Sanchez and Mike Sweeney in the 6th inning. Pedro has struck out 6 through the first 5. He's not walked anyone. Just the 4 hits rendered so far to the Royals, one of which belonging to Carlos Beltran. Got it in the bottom of the 1st inning and struck out in the 3rd inning. And strikes out here. 7th strikeout for Pedro. 1 down in the 6th inning.
Well, Pedro's control tonight has been absolutely outstanding. He's been able to hit the corners exactly how he wants to. He's gotten some help from the home plate umpire calling those pitches, and right there you see now they have to start chasing that pitch on the outside corner. Pedro right on target in this one tonight.
7 Ks for Pedro as he goes after Ray Sanchez. 1 for 2 in the ball game. On the ground towards Offerman. The dob off, and there's 2 down.
Well, took a bad hop off the lip of the infield grass where the grass meets the dirt. But fortunately, Offerman was still far enough back where he had time to adjust. Watch this hop here. See how it kicks back to his right? But he's still able to make the play and still has time to get to Sanchez at first base.
Two down, and it brings up Mike Sweeney. Lined out to center field in the first. Bounced into a 6-4-3 double play. A terrific play initiated by John Valentin back in the fourth inning. Diving and then flipping with his glove to Jose Offerman as the pitch is swung on and missed. Rick Sutcliffe here reminds me of a possibility. John Valentin's play earlier could be an ESPN web gem.
Yeah, could be.
This ESPN News right here on NESN. As backing out is Mike Sweeney with a count of 1-1.
That's what I'm talking about there, that nasty control. I mean, he's picking up those corners with the fastball. A lot of complaining going on from the Royals, and you certainly would expect that. You say, hey, look, this guy's Cy Young out there. He doesn't need any more help. But he's making those quality, tough pitches tonight on the corners and getting the calls, which in some cases this year is not, Pedro has not got those calls on the corner.
Now the 1-2. Chop towards Valentin. Brown's behind it. The throw is low, but Daubach digs it out, and it's another 1-2-3 inning for Pedro here in the sixth. Done with 6 from Kansas City. 6-0 Red Sox. Back at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri. Don Orsillo and Jerry Remy with you. Pedro Martinez, 10 Ks in all tonight. He strikes out the side in the 7th inning. Pedro with 75 career 10K games. 48 as a member of the Red Sox. And out there again for the 8th. 7 innings deep. No runs, 4 hits for Pedro. 10 Ks, no walks. Offensively, Veritek with a 3-run home run. Trot Nixon a solo shot. Those were back-to-back. And Ramirez with a couple of more RBIs. A single and a triple tonight for Manny. Pedro struck out the side in the 7th inning. Has struck out the side 11 times this year. Only 3 batters faced on 3 occasions. Now retired 7 in a row as he deals with Alicea to begin the inning. Luis swinging and missing at the first offering. Alicea struck out in the 2nd. Single to center in the 5th inning. This would be the 86th pitch of the night for Pedro Martinez. 65 of them have been strikes as he misses inside this time. Alicea is 4th in the American League in triples with 4 on the year. Gets out of the way of that pitch. 2-1.
That last graphic we had about striking out the side in 1, 2, 3 times. That's 3 straight strikeouts in a row with no walks and no hits in between. Just 3 in a row. Bing, bing, bing.
Glad you followed up on that because I was a little confused.
I was too when I looked at it.
31 pitch on the corner. That's a full count. Pedro did that in the 7th, striking out Jermaine Dye, Joe Randa, and D. Brown in succession. And is ready with the payoff pitch to Alicea. Going inside, and he walks in. Well, breaks up a string of 7 in a row, retired. I got a question as we hit the net, Jerry. Amy Matthews of Millbridge, Maine, wants to know, is Pedro any different on the days that he pitches? How he prepares, his personality on a game day for Pedro?
Well, I think anybody that hangs around with the Red Sox knows that he's very different. You know, between starts, he's always in that dugout. He almost like he's got nothing to do and he wants something to do. He's always fooling around trying to keep guys loose. Day of game, different story. Very serious, and you can see it in his demeanor on the mound. Regardless of the score, situation in the game, always the same. A lot of pitchers have different styles. You know, they don't like to have the media talk to them on the day that they're pitching. And I'm not sure about Pedro. I think he doesn't have press conferences, obviously, on the day that he's pitching. But if a guy comes up to speak with him, I think he speaks with him. But certain pitchers don't want anything to do with anybody on the day that they start. Kind of give them their space and let them prepare for the ball game.
Raul Ibanez, a hitter, 0 for 2 tonight. Going inside, and now Veritek's going to head out. Kerrigan is coming out as well.
And for the first time tonight, there is some activity as the Palito Pachado starts to loosen up.
Pedro's right around 90 pitches in his outing tonight. Be more exact, 92. Six runs, 10 hits, no errors for the Red Sox. Royals, no runs, 4 hits, and an error as they bat in the bottom of the 8th. Fouled off the left side, 2-1.
Getting back to that point about pitches, you know, I'm sure on their days that they start, they have probably the same routine that they go through. They may, I don't know, sleep a little later, get up, eat the same meal for every start. Different guys do different things. You know, Nomar certainly has a routine that he goes through, and that's every day when he's playing.
Outside of first and foul. Of course, the starters come later than the rest of the team on nights they start generally.
That little guy's happy.
And a broken bat for Ibanez. We'll go back and get a new one. Pedro with 10 strikeouts and no walks so far tonight, and just rendering the 4 hits that the Royals have. Ibanez just activated before the ball game for the Royals, then in AAA. In Omaha, 2-2 the count. Off the fist, fouled back into the left. $34,154 on hand here tonight. After Ibanez, Hector Ortiz waiting on deck for the Royals. As they bat here in the 8th, this is the first time they've had a base runner since the 5th inning. And another pop-up foul off the left side.
Pretty good at bat here for Ibanez. He's fouled off some pitches that other guys have not been able to foul off or make contact on. That was a pretty good changeup there by Pedro. Ibanez staying alive.
Pedro can't cut his sleeves anymore, but those sleeves are huge. They've widened them a little bit for Pedro. So he's not restricted in any way, but he can no longer cut them. So you can see the seam there, but a lot of room for Pedro. Now the 2-2 again to Ibanez. In the air to left field. O'Leary heading back. And there's one away. Back to first goes Alicea. So Ibanez in a lengthy at bat, but flies out to left, and Troy O'Leary takes care of him for the first out of the inning. Now it's Hector Ortiz who in his first at bat grounded out to the shortstop. In the 5th inning, came on for A.J. Hinch, left earlier in the ball game. Victor Ortiz, 32 years of age, from Puerto Rico. Originally a 35th round draft choice by the Dodgers back in 1988.
Good defensive catcher. He's thrown out 34% of the runners so far this year going against him, and 9 of the last 18. He's had his struggles offensively, though.
Next swing and a miss, and it's 1-1. He's not a power type, just 3 home runs in his first 10 minor league seasons. In the year last year in AAA, sitting at .322 and he got called up to the Royals. Spent small parts of 2 seasons in the big leagues with Kansas City. But in 26 games and 88 at bats last year, he hit .386 for the Royals. Now the 2-1 delivery is chopped foul down the third base line.
This may be the last inning for Pedro. I would imagine up over 100 pitches now.
They had to work pretty hard here in the 8th inning, even though they have not scored a run.
He's thrown 18 pitches in this inning. It is the longest inning in terms of pitches for Pedro. 102 for his outing. There's 103, and it misses high. Full count, 3-2. Long at bat after he walked Alicea, which was a fairly long at bat. Then a long at bat for Ibanez, who fouled off a bevy of Pedro offerings. And he's able to come back and strike out Ortiz. 11th strikeout for Pedro. 2 down in the 8th.
I wonder how many of those they bring to the ballpark when Pedro is pitching. Fastball outside corner to pick up the strikeout. Just throwing the fastball by Ortiz. Yeah, somebody said 27 they bring in.
Just in case. Runner goes. Pitch lined into right center field for a base hit. Alicea, who's off with the pitch, will get to third. Wide turn at first base for Beltran. The first hit for the Royals since the 5th inning. And only their 5th of the contest. Now runners at the corners with 2 down.
Now Beltran with a couple of hits in the ball game tonight. A 7-game hitting streak now. 2 for 4 against Pedro. 2 singles, 2 strikeouts. And this is certainly the hardest that Pedro has had to work in any inning in this game tonight.
Ray Sanchez coming to the plate. Right-handed hitter, 1 for 3 tonight. Me and Joe Kerrigan side by side. We're giving the signs for Veritek as to how they'll handle the runner at first. And the breaking ball in there for strike 1.
Sanchez tough to strike out. And you see his numbers with men in scoring position and 2 outs, 1 for 10. He's only struck out 11 times on the season.
Grounded outside of third and foul. Ray Sanchez spent 7 seasons as a member of the Chicago Cubs. Mets, Giants, Yankees, and now the Royals. Runner at first goes. He swings and misses, and Pedro strikes him out. 12th strikeout of the night for Pedro, and the Royals will leave him at the corners. Through 8, 6-0 Boston. Welcome back to Kansas City. 6-0 Red Sox on top. And the congratulations for Pedro Martinez, whose night apparently over as expected. At the end of 8 shutout innings for Pedro, striking out 12. The last one, Ray Sanchez, to conclude the 8th inning.
Saved a little for Sanchez. Sanchez, as I mentioned, only 11 strikeouts on the season. Got him on the high fastball. Another great night for Pedro Martinez.
Trot Nixon leads it off. And it takes ball one, facing Doug Henry, who's back out there for another inning. Came on in the 8th. Nixon with a home run in the 4th inning, walked in the 1st, struck out in the 3rd, the home run in the 4th inning, and then a ground out in the 6th inning. So in the leadoff spot tonight. Trot ahead, 3-0. Jose Offerman and Carl Everett expected behind him. As on 4 pitches, Trot Nixon gets a leadoff walk here in the 9th. Offerman coming up 1 for 4 tonight. 1 of 10 hits banged out by the Red Sox. Everett with 2, Ramirez with 2, and Shea Hillenbrand has 2 tonight. Up and away, ball 1. 5 straight balls from Doug Henry to begin the inning, and the catcher Ortiz will head out to talk with him.
Well, everybody in the Red Sox lineup with a hit tonight, with the exception of John Valentin and Brian Daubach.
Although Daubach has been on 2 occasions with a pair of walks.
And Valentin made that great defensive play, obviously.
Ooh, big cut from Offerman. Royals infield at double play depth. Nobody out, top of the 9th. On the corner, Offerman. Jose looking back in the direction of Ed Rapuano. And it's 1-2.
Marcelo just opened up his wallet and all these moths come flying out.
I was wondering what all these bugs were. Out of nowhere, we've got a ton of bugs here. It's not just a patch, it's the entire ballpark. Big lights. 1-2 the count. And a strikeout for Doug Henry. Walked Nixon, but he comes back to strike out Offerman for the first out in the 9th.
Second strikeout for Henry since being in the ballgame. That looked like a slider down and in to pick up the strikeout. Been a very well-pitched game from the 4th inning on. Good relief work by Corey Bailey. Now Doug Henry, and of course Pedro outstanding all the way through.
Everett 2 for 4 in this one as he swings and misses, upset with himself. Arrowhead Stadium, which is right behind us here. I guess they were built right around the same time. And a tremendous facility for football. I understand you guys were here last year when there was a college football game going on and both stadiums are being used.
Kansas State was playing over there, and it's one of those real hot, humid days.
Randa has no play at second. Double pumps, better hurry up, and he does just get Everett at first. 5-3. Looked at second first, but gets Everett for the inning second out.
That's what we're talking about with Everett, about running balls out. I mean, he runs hard all the time, and he made that a very close play over at first base. You really, when you get a guy with that kind of speed and that runs hard, puts that maximum effort, you really don't have any time for any type of mistake. Right out of the box, going hard. And the throw just beats him. That's not one of those balls you hit either, where you figure, well, you know, I might get a hit out of this thing. It looked like a routine out, but still busting it down the line.
Manny Ramirez 2 for 4 with 2 runs batted in. He bats with a runner in scoring position and Trot Nixon at second base. And pops it up foul. The catcher Ortiz coming back, but he's not going to have the room.
Well, I think Manny would like to have that back again. It looked to me that he was looking for that fastball inside. If you watch his front foot, it looks like he's stepping a little bit in the bucket, almost like he's expecting something inside on that first pitch. Had a good swing and just fouled it back. Watch his front foot. He leaves a little bit there looking for that ball inside and just missed it. Fouled it back. Great balance for Ramirez. See how he kicks that leg up. That's to keep the weight back before going forward.
Now the 0-1. Broken bat grounder that is going to be a foul ball. Very close by that third base bag.
Now that one he was not expecting inside. That was a broken bat. He got jammed on that one. Almost the exact same place, but Ramirez thinking maybe they'll go away this time, and wow, he got sawed off that time.
So Manny gets a new bat. 2 down here on the top of the 9th. Expected in the bottom of the 9th for the Royals, Mike Sweeney, Jermaine Dye, and Joe Randa will be dealing with, at the very least, a 6-run deficit. Trot Nixon at second base with 2 down. Now Manny backs up. Ramirez grounded out in the first, singled in the third, tripled in the fourth. Grounded out to the shortstop in the 7th. He's driven in 2 tonight. Now has 52 RBIs on the year. And strikes out. So Doug Henry gets him. Red Sox retired in the 9th. They leave Nixon at second. It's on to the bottom of the 9th. 6-0 Boston. Hipólito Pichardo is on for the bottom of the 9th.
Second appearance since joining the Red Sox. He worked in that Minnesota series. An inning. He did have a strikeout. Plus the long battle back for Pichardo, and he's pitching against tonight his former ball club, the Kansas City Royals. Okay, go ahead. You can talk.
Hipólito Pichardo is on. Waterfall's full effect out there in right field in between innings, but only between innings. A little bit of a red flare out there.
Looks like a gentleman's club.
I wouldn't know. Fine gentleman's club. On to the bottom of the 9th. Mike Sweeney will lead it off. 0 for 3. Jermaine Dye. And then Joe Randa.
Does that say win check?
Sweeney is 0 for 3 tonight. 3 groundouts. As Pichardo with his first pitch of his outing. This is away, ball 1. Pedro Martinez tonight, 8 innings, 5 hits, no runs. He walked 1 and he struck out 12. His ERA down to 1.52 with his work tonight. And in line to pick up his 6th victory of the year. Would tie him with Jamie Moyer of Seattle. Lined into left center, a base hit. Mike Sweeney aboard to begin the bottom of the 9th.
Well, even though Sweeney put up some good battles against Pedro, I'm sure happy to see him gone. He extends his hitting streak now to 11 games. Looked like a slider from Machado. That just hung out over the middle of the plate, and Sweeney picks up the base hit.
So Sweeney aboard. Jermaine Dye coming up 1 for 3. Dye with his single in the 4th inning. Dye striking out in the 1st and then the 7th. He singles into center field. Sweeney up to 2nd. The first 2 men aboard. The bottom of the 9th for the Royals.
And Jimmy quickly to that phone down in the bullpen. These Kansas City fans, just about a full house tonight, have not had much to cheer about. Back-to-back singles to start off the 9th, and that'll get Derek Lowe up and throwing in the Boston bullpen.
Joe Kerrigan will head to the mound.
Quirk, the bench coach for the Kansas City Royals.
And the home plate umpire Ed Rapuano headed out to break up the conference. Paulo Pichardo, who had spent his entire career here at the Royals until joining the Red Sox last year. Back here at Kauffman Stadium having trouble in the 9th. Back-to-back singles for the Royals. Joe Randa 0 for 3 tonight. Strike 1. Royals had not put together back-to-back hits in the contest up till now as they were facing Pedro. Ground ball down the line of 3rd, and Randa is in the hole, 0-2. Dye at first, Sweeney at second. Joe Randa climbs back in, waiting on the 0-2. Lowe continues to heat it up in the Boston bullpen. Tony Muser looks on. Randa lines it into left field. Sweeney will go up to 3rd. They stop him there as O'Leary's up with it quickly. And the Royals have the bases loaded with 3 straight hits to open up the bottom of the 9th.
Well, a couple of guys happy Pedro's out to extend hitting streak. Sweeney now with 11 games, and Randa moves it up to 8 games with that base hit. And it looks like the tip of the cap very close to coming from John Cumberland to let him know that Lowe's ready.
Veritek comes back. We'll see if Jimmy makes his way to the mound. And here comes Jimmy. So that'll do it for Apollo Pichardo, who gives up a single to left by Mike Sweeney, a single to center by Jermaine Dye, and then Joe Randa singles to left. And this outing not as good for Apollo. Heads off, responsible for all the runners on, and Derek Lowe is coming from the bullpen. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by Verizon Wireless. We'll be back at the bottom of the 9th from Kansas City with Boston on top 6-0. Back back in Kansas City. Red Sox on top 6-0, but the bases are loaded for the Royals. Derek Lowe is on.
Lowe has not allowed an earned run in his last 5 appearances, covering 6 innings, allowing 6 hits and 5 strikeouts. His last outing against Minnesota, an inning, 3 hits, 1 earned run, and a couple of strikeouts in that ball game.
D. Brown 0 for 3 tonight. 2 strikeouts and a fly out to left. And he takes ball 1. And a foul tip. 1-1 now to Brown.
It's about as loud a crowd as we've heard here at Kauffman Stadium in a long, long time.
Tremendous crowd on hand here tonight for the first of 3 between the Red Sox and the Royals. The 1-1. Chopped down the third base line. Hillenbrand on the backhand goes to second. It's close and it's not in time. Gets away. Another run will score. Tie comes in. The Royals get 2. And there's still nobody out. It's now 6-2 Red Sox.
Gift here for the Royals. Hillenbrand backs up on a ground ball, and his throw to second base cannot be handled by Hoffman. And even if it was handled, that might have been a very close play at second.
And their first strike to Luis Alicea. They charge Hillenbrand with an error.
That'll be his 7th error on the season.
Inside the bag at third. Randa's coming around to score. D. Brown will be stopped at third. Into second with an RBI double goes Luis Alicea. And the Royals will have the potential tying run coming to the plate. Still nobody out.
Back on the phone to the bullpen. Someone will be getting up to throw, and Kerrigan will probably make a visit out to the mound to give him some time. Looks like Shurik is going to be one guy taking off his jacket.
This has not been the bottom of the ninth that the Red Sox envisioned after Pedro left.
Alicea going between the third base line and Shea Hillenbrand. Another run comes around to score. 2 more in scoring position. So now the most important guy becomes the man at the plate. He is the potential tying run. Still nobody out here in the ninth.
Raul Ibanez is 0 for 3 tonight. 2 groundouts and a flyout. Swings and lines it right to the shortstop. No play at second. Valentin snared it on the line drive off the bat of Ibanez, and there's finally 1 out in the bottom of the ninth.
Even that ball hit very hard, but right at John Valentin, and so hard they had no chance to double up that man at second base. Hoffman couldn't get there in time. So Ortiz, the catcher, is due, but he will not hit. And is scrambling around in that dugout looking for that pinch hitter.
Looked like somebody ran down the runway.
Wilson Delgado. Switch hitter Wilson Delgado coming to the plate.
Delgado has had only 3 at-bats so far and is 0 for 3 with the Kansas City Royals. It's only the second game that he's appeared in, and he will pinch hit for Ortiz. The Royals Royals will go through their second catchers. A.J. Hinch left earlier. And now their backup catcher Hector Ortiz is being hit for in the bottom of the ninth. First base is vacant. Strike one.
You see Daubach on that first base line, not right on the line, but very close to it, trying to prevent the two-base hit. And now they're going to move him back off the line.
Inside and low. Good play by Varitek, lunging to his right. So some drama here in the bottom of the ninth. Royals will put a 3 spot on the board. Fouled off the left side. Alicea at second. D. Brown is at third. The potential tying run at the plate. 1 out, bottom of the ninth. Inside and low again. Varitek to his right, and it evens up at 2-2. Looks like Rod Beck may have joined Shurik, or maybe it's just Rod Beck now in the bullpen. The 2-2. Low and inside. Varitek again. A good lunging play. Runs full. It is Rod Beck alone in the bullpen. The payoff pitch is swung on and missed. He struck him out. A very big strikeout for Derek Lowe in the inning's second out.
Just keeping that potential tying run off base. Lowe back to the fastball will pick up the strikeout after a couple of breaking balls that he could not get for a strike. Back to the fastball and gets a second out of the inning.
Carlos Beltran, the top of the order, 2 for 4. Swings and fouls it back to the backstop. Beltran was 2 for 4 against Pedro. 2 of 5 hits that Pedro rendered over his 8 innings of work. One and one to Beltran. The 3 runs that the Royals have so far belong to Paulo Pichardo, as Lowe misses again. 2-1 the count. Derek Lowe responsible for the men on. Now the 2-1. In the air, foul down the left field line. 2-2 the count. Slugger, the Royals mascot. Top of the Royals dugout as Varitek heads out to talk to Derek Lowe. $34,154. A lot of them standing here at Kauffman Stadium. Fouled in and out of the Red Sox dugout on the third base side. Six runs, 10 hits, an error for the Red Sox. 3 runs, 9 hits, an error for the Royals. Now the 2-2. Chopped left side. The shortstop Valentin. The long throw is in time, and the Red Sox win it. They throw out Beltran and things here in the ninth, and the Red Sox win it by a score of 6-3. So Derek Lowe gets the job done, finishing it off for Pedro Martinez, who now becomes 6-0 with the victory here tonight. Game 1 of the 3-game series against the Royals.